Alright, good evening. My name is Carlos Castellanos. I'll be speaking to you today about solar energy. Renewable energy sources have for many years been considered good ideas, but they have never been really considered to be a substitute or be able to replace conventional fossil fuels in the production of electricity. But things have changed now. One of the renewable energies that has now moved forward is solar. My proposition is that the increased use of solar technology has pushed solar ahead of other renewable energies in reducing California's dependency on fossil fuels. My support for this is that solar technologies are now costing less than ever before. There are higher benefits monetarily, more now than ever, and also that solar power has reached new production heights that were never considered as probable as before. Right now, the cost of solar systems are down to about $5 per watt, and the watt is the amount of energy that your system could produce. The cost has dropped significantly in the last decade. 10 years ago, the cost of a solar system was $10 per watt. Most systems could go from 1,000 to 5,000, and when you get into industrial size, you go to megawatts. And this pricing reduction now makes the systems available to more people, and it can actually create a little bit more sustainability and accessibility for others. Right now, the average person can most likely also now install these systems into their home, and for that there are government programs that are helping homeowners to be able to pay for these systems. The government now has a 30% tax credit that will not only pay for the system itself, but all installation processes and any other related costs to these systems. There are other incentives as well to owning and using solar energy from not only from a homeowner's point of view, but also from a large company or even city benefits. Some are that you are able to sell back your energy that you do not consume from your own home. You consume your solar energy, but if you produce more, you're able to sell it back to the power companies. And large power solar systems have been able to get authorized by the state, and they are able to get paid up to 17 cents per kilowatt hour. Right now, the actual current kilowatt charge by your power company is 15 cents. So companies are, let's say for instance schools that are providing and producing energy can get a monetary value out of that. That all comes from the Go Solar California, and that's a statistics and analysis company which takes all the solar information that are provided to utility companies, which actually calculate the cost and the production of electricity. The production of solar energy has reached the new highs in the last couple of years. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, in 2013, California was producing, of all its energy, 2% was coming solely from solar energy. And last year in 2014, that number jumped up to 5%. So that's a 3% gain in only 1 year. So at this rate, you could assume that by the year 2020, California could be producing solely from only solar power up to 25% of its energy. So the whole state could run on 25%. I mean, the whole state could be using 25% solar energy. And that's actually a tremendous help because the state has mandated that by the year 2020, 33% of all electricity in the state produced has to come from renewable energies. So right now that solar is actually ahead of the game, it's feasible that by that time, solar will actually be promoting and be one of the largest contributors to that number. So now that the cost is less, and for these solar systems, and that also there are higher benefits, and there's also help to pay for these systems, and that solar is actually producing more, and it's actually a lot more feasible. That is why it's safe to assume that the increased production and use of solar technologies will help decrease the demand and the consumption of fossil fuels in California. Thank you.
All right, the subject is clear, the proposition is clearly stated, although the way it's been phrased, I'm not sure that's where the controversy is. The secondary points are previewed pretty effectively. In the body of the speech, I do think you have a tendency to just start presenting information without reminding us of what the secondary claims are. There really aren't any transitions between the points, and so if you're not listening carefully, the material will simply run together. So I think you need to be a little bit sharper about citing those secondary points. I heard the third point being presented, but I didn't notice that it was distinct from the things that you had said prior. And like I said, there was no transition language between those points. I thought you had a lot of good information in the speech that you presented. There's some good statistical information that doesn't get a source citation. I think that's pretty good. Your first source citation actually comes 4 minutes into the speech, so there's a lot of stuff in the background and setup that I think you take as a given. It's probably not that controversial, but it would be better to provide the source citation. And then after that, you're a little bit better about doing those kinds of things. It's a little concerning to me. I guess that the argument is that solar can provide 25% of our energy by 2020, but 33% is supposed to be produced by renewable energies. So ideally, I guess other energies are going to be making up that difference. I'm just worried, is that going to be, since solar energy seems to be the way of the future, is there any way that that could increase? I was wondering also, as I'm listening to this, if it's so economically advantageous, why is it that we have to have incentives in order to make it competitive? Why are there government programs that are there to underwrite it and give you tax benefits on that sort of thing, if in fact it is an economic boom and it provides us with a better return on that? It seems like you wouldn't need that kind of incentive. I wonder if those incentives also account for that growth from 2% to 5% in the 1 year. That was a good piece of information. Projecting the same rate of increase over the next 5 years, that might be a little bit of a stretch. I can see why it's desirable to make that inference. I don't know if it's an inference that you've made or somebody else has made. If it's somebody else who's authoritative and knowledgeable about the economics of California's energy system, I think you would want to cite that and gain some credibility from that citation. I thought that your generalizations are reasonably solid. Your presentation is also reasonably solid, and sorry about the pun, but I think you could use a little energy. Pick it up here and there, a little emphasis here and there, but I thought it was an effective speech overall. Thank you.